The opinions expressed on the Custody Queen Show are for informational purposes only and are not a substitute for personal, professional legal advice. The persons discussed are fictional and not based on actual clients.
Thought it was love, had kids in between. You can count on us, we're the Custody Queens. Yeah, you can count on us, we're the Custody Queens.
Happy Saturday, everyone. I'm Sam McBride. I'm here with Kristen Holstrom. We are the Custody Queens. Today we have a very special guest, Xinia Williams. She is new to our CQ family. We're so excited to have her. I'm going to let Kristen say a few words about her, and then we're going to jump into it.
So welcome everybody listening and watching. Our Custody Queens family is growing. It has grown exponentially in the last year or so. So I'm super happy to have Miss Williams here with us today. She is not only a fabulous attorney, she's a pretty cool human being, and she's bilingual. So we are going to get to know her today and just kind of figure out why she chose family law and why she chose the Custody Queens.
And it's really important for Kristen and I to have episodes like this and kind of reach out because we want you guys to really kind of understand who we are as people and who our team is. We're unique, and we are excited to get to know you on air.
All right, so we are going to kind of go back to tradition and go to the Book of CQ. We haven't done it in a hot minute. And I am going to find a question to ask Xinia and kind of make her feel a little vulnerable and maybe on the spot.
It's one of Kristen's favorite things to do.
Check it out.
I did my research.
All right. Ooh, do you still have feelings for an ex that have never gone away?
Of course not. I'm married.
That's the right answer.
Ding, 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 ding. All right, yeah, that was kind of a fake one, so let me ask you another one.
Did you make that up?
No, it's in my book. All right, what is your favorite way to start your day?
Ideally would be, or do it like realistically.
Yeah, realistically, like I guess you could tell our listeners what you actually do and what you would prefer to do.
All right, so what I actually do is snooze, and then till I really have to get up and get ready for work and get my son to school. What I would love to do is be able to wake up early, work out, make breakfast, then get ready.
So that's the hashtag mom life.
Yes.
So you're my husband. He has like 6 snoozes, literally, that go for an hour. And I am the girl that has maybe used an alarm clock twice in my entire life. So
Do you know what I realized? That there's 2 types of people. There's snoozers and non-snoozers. You either are very irritated that everyone is like snoozing every 10 minutes, or you're that person.
yeah.
I'm that person.
Yeah.
I like a good solid hour and a half to wake up with a snooze.
See, the way I
just
look
in
at
and
that,
out of dreaming.
No, the way I look at that is it is inevitable that you have to get up at a specific time. So the fact that you have to have 6 alarms, it's just so annoying to me.
I'm in the middle of both because I naturally wake up, but I don't want to wake up, which is why I have the snooze to remind me. Because the moment that I choose to ignore it is when I sleep past it.
I think I have undiagnosed narcolepsy. I really do. But like for me, I'm like, okay, so I could sleep the whole night, Kristen will get irritated if I say 8 hours, so let's call it 6. And then when I start to snooze, to me, I'm like, that's an 8-minute nap. So I can get 5 8-minute naps in before I have coffee.
Why is Apple like 9 minutes or 8 minutes?
I don't know.
Snoozes.
It's fabulous.
I don't know. You snoozers are, you guys are annoying. I literally don't even use an alarm clock. Wake up every day between 5 and 6. I still don't have time to work out, or actually I choose not to, even though I would prefer to do that too. But yeah, being the mom, I have learned to buy pancakes on Amazon that are from like a French bakery, and they last like for, I don't know, like a month, and you don't even have to cook them. So I literally buy these in bulk on Amazon, and I put them right next to the refrigerator, and literally my daughter, who's 7, knows how to take the pancakes out of the package and put it in for 20 seconds.
Wow.
And, you know, I have trained my 4 and 7-year-old to make their own breakfast.
That's all in a hot breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need that link later.
Yeah, I don't even know. It must have been one of those, 2 a.m. finds. And I was like, how do I make my life easier? And that was an answer. So, Xinia, I'm going to have you ask Sam a question.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
What is something too hard for you to imagine?
Well, I don't know where to even take, like, what does that
That's
question
deep.
even mean?
That's deep.
It was the first one I saw.
Okay, too hard to imagine. I could get some brownie points with my boss by saying leaving ever. It would be too hard to imagine doing anything else for a living but being with Kristen and doing Custody Queens.
Aw, I love that. And I know it's genuine too.
It actually really is. All right, Kristen. Let's see if we can get you a little awkward.
I love awkwardness.
I know you do.
I live for those moments.
She really does. Okay, I got this one. How do you resolve conflict?
It depends on my mood. The way that I prefer to resolve conflict is to remove myself from the situation as it is occurring. When I respond with emotions, it goes nowhere good, and it usually makes it 10 times worse. And I am only successful in doing this 50% of the time. And if I actually listen to my own advice to my clients more, I would be better at resolving conflict. But I think that the best way for me, because I'm a very emotional, heated, direct person, is to just leave, let some time pass, and then communicate. I'm a big communicator. And
I totally agree with
that's
that. I couldn't agree with that more. I don't know if my dad told it to me one time or if I just made it up, but like, you shouldn't make a lot of promises when you're really happy, because you'll probably regret it, and you probably also shouldn't say things when you're upset.
No, it's so true. A good real life example that probably a lot of people can relate on is my daughter is 7 and she plays club soccer. And, she didn't have her best game. I wasn't super happy with her playing time, being a normal, crazy parent. I know all my listeners and fans out there can feel me sometimes. We all think that our kids can be better, do better. But apparently there is a 48-hour rule that you are not allowed to talk to the coach for 48 hours. This is a club-wide rule after the game, because it allows you time to process. Well, I'm a little busy, so I happened to miss the parent meeting, and I was not fully aware of that 48-hour rule, and I was, had some concerns. It really didn't have anything to do with the coach. It was more just kind of me and questions. But I walked right up to him after the game, and, I had a slew of kind of direct questions. And then I was advised later that there's a 48-hour rule, which makes sense. So I go, maybe I should implement that in our whole family dynamic.
It's helpful because I feel like you'll get distracted. You're going to spend so much time thinking about what you shouldn't have said, and you won't heal from the real issue. So I think it's a great rule.
Yeah, and I don't know about you two, but sometimes I can go below the belt when I am really upset.
We all can.
That's why I have to remove myself from a situation.
Yeah, take it,
words
nap
can
it
hurt.
off. Sleep it off.
Oh, you and your
There's
nappers. If I can't get 2 hours, it's not worth it.
Right.
All right, so Xinia, you asked Sam a question. Or did we already ask you a
We
question?
already did.
We already did that. All right, so let's dive into the rest of the show. I guess I have one question, and I think I kind of know the answer from our interview process. Xinia I had to really work to bring her onto the team, not because she didn't want to come, but she's a very loyal person, and she wanted to make sure it was the right decision, not only for her as an attorney, but for her and her family as well. So why did you choose family law?
To be honest, I got thrown into it. I was lucky enough to have a job lined up after I graduated, so I didn't have to worry about that while taking for the bar. And I worked for a sole practitioner that did mostly family law. And then it just never left my life.
Yeah, I think that's how a lot of people kind of end up in family law.
And I feel like I enjoy it. It is draining, I will give you that, but you replenish yourself, and I think the good that we could do
outweighs
the negatives of it.
Yeah, we've talked a lot on our show about kind of what family law does to our mental health and the toll it takes. But yeah, I still agree that in order to be a good family law attorney, you have to have that passion and appreciation for what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all about really caring for your clients, because if you don't have that, I don't know how anyone could do it. And I think that's why people have said that family law has a bad rap because they don't have the same passion. Because all family law attorneys that are still practicing are, not all, most of you, I'm trying to help out all us family law attorneys out there, most of us are in it because we genuinely care about other people.
And I think the foundation of that is like making sure our clients understand what we're doing for them, because a lot of the bad experiences come from clients not understanding what the heck is going on. And that's our job to make sure they know what's going on, even if it takes us 10 times to explain to them what's going on, because they're emotional. It comes back to emotion. Family law is emotion and controlling those emotions.
And understanding how that can have an effect on your family law case.
Exactly.
I think that's very well put.
And not allowing someone else to control your emotions.
Yes.
You could have the same conversation with a client 2 weeks after they filed for divorce or got served, and then you could have that conversation 2 months later, same person, and you're getting two totally different responses from that client. And it's our job as attorneys, like Xinia said, is to not only manage their expectations, but to keep advising them of what's going on, why it's happening, why we're doing what we're doing, and what to expect.
And what they can do on their own to better their situation. Sometimes it's about just what we're talking about, tone, like how you communicate with someone. Maybe that's the reason your relationship didn't work, but now you have to figure out how to communicate for your kids.
Yeah, and a lot of times as a parent and a co-parenter, you have to train yourself to do things that you've been doing wrong for 15 years.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing about going through a family law case is that, yeah, your emotions are going to change over time, but also, correcting one behavior overnight isn't going to have a huge effect on your case. So it takes a while to see what changing one small thing can do for your case. And a lot of times it's a lot. And also knowing that you're doing something that has a good effect in the family law court is helpful to your mental health because you have more control over the situation. And so I think, again, that's very well put. It's the education behind what's going on in your case. If your clients know that, they can actively make the right decisions, but their decisions nevertheless, to help ease or mitigate the strain of a very, very stressful process.
And at the end of the day, it not only helps your case, but it helps your mental state. Because why do you have to be so angry all the time? And I get that maybe this other person made you angry, but you, like we're talking about, you have control over your own emotions and how you react to something. So, and it's hard from people that are married, even if they're just together for 15, 20 years and changing up everything they're doing, because at that point, maybe it was the right thing. It was the right fit for their family, but now they have to imagine a life outside of that and readjust. And readjusting isn't easy.
Yeah, and everyone listening, just know that we're real humans too, so that we can sit up here and preach and say and do all these things, but we have to practice these things as well. We deal with a lot of difficult attorneys on the other side, where, to be honest, I'd probably like to tell them to go stick it where the sun don't shine. But clearly,
we have a 48-hour rule.
I have implemented that at the office, but that's not professional. It's not helpful. It's not conducive to settlement, and it costs my client money that may not be necessary. So I don't want everyone to think that we sit up here and we say do all of these things and we can just do it overnight. It's a habit that you have to do over and over and over again. And we talk a lot on the show about change and transition and just kind of navigating those waters. But a lot of clients that come to us that have been with other attorneys before us, we have to undo a lot of those bad habits because that attorney was not doing their job and managing your case effectively.
I think that's well put. You have to have an attorney that is as invested in your life as you are, and that may sound kind of extreme, but it's true. I mean, you need to have somebody that is along for the ride with you, so to speak.
Yeah, we're on this journey together with our clients.
Yeah.
But I do think an important thing is that we need to make sure that they know we're on the ride, but that we're still there to guide them, and that we can be empathetic, but we're not you at the same time, and we wouldn't be doing our job correctly if we reacted the same way you did. So sometimes clients get mad at us because we're not as angry about the other person doing something to them. Well, we can't be. What can we do to fix this legally is what we need to focus on. That's our role.
Yeah, a lot of something I say to clients all the time is it's not our life, right? We can give them advice, we can advocate, we can talk about resolutions, options, but I always tell my clients they are the captain of their own ship. This is their life. So a decision that I may recommend may not be what they want to do. So it's my job as an attorney to say, here are the pros, here are the cons, here are the options. You need to pick what is best for you and your family, because I don't sleep, I'm not you.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the things that I loved about Xinia when I was, hiring her is, I think it was a couple days after she had started working on the Custody Queens team, was in our office, and we had an emergency hearing on a case that I've had for many, many years. And it is a very emotionally draining case. It's just high conflict, and I love our client dearly, but it's a case that nobody would want to just jump in on day one. And sure enough, I had a conflict. I think I was on another hearing, and she just jumped in and took complete control and management of the client, the case. She got whatever needed to be filed within a couple hours, and I just love that. And that is something that our team offers that so many other firms do not, is you're getting a team, and that's so important for everyone to realize.
Yeah, and I know that I didn't talk to you directly about it, but when I was kind of hearing that was going on and I wasn't around and you handled the hearing and everything went great, I said to Kristen, I'm like, yep, she's going to work. Because you never quite know. And it's hard to find perfect fits. And I think that Kristen has done a really good job of doing that. And that's why we're a family.
Yeah, and it's so much more than just being a good attorney. I was going to say a lot, but there's really not a lot of really good family law attorneys. There's a handful of really good attorneys that are not only good attorneys, but a good fit for the firm. I want someone that, would give me the shirt off their back, that would cover something, a hearing, or potentially could watch my kids for me if I was running late. And that's what Xinia is.
I watched
to
Kristen's dogs for years. All
I think
them.
Everyone in the office has pretty much been a nanny / babysitter for me at some point.
Full service. I can add that to my resume.
All right, Xinia, what is something about you that you want our Go Country 105 listeners to know?
I have an open mind. We can disagree on many things, but that doesn't mean that we can't be tolerant of each other.
I love that.
I love that too.
Yeah, that was deep. That was really good. And I feel the same way, because people are so fixated on the fact that they don't agree that they can't tolerate.
And we can coexist.
I agree.
Yeah, that's very well put. So I have a question, and Kristen and I have already kind of talked about our most embarrassing court moments, but I'm sure me and Kristen can come up with a few more. But do you have a funny story of a court experience or an embarrassing story when you were first starting out?
Well, going back to where I started, I just got thrown into everything. So I learned a lot. So where I'm at now, and the piece of where I'm at now, and I'm able to function the best, is all been a work in progress over the last now almost 7 years. And I think just getting thrown into things. Having to call out your client's name in the hallway and say, I'm your attorney this morning.
And we actually talk about that on our show, that there's so many sole practitioners that do that, or firms. And that is not something you will ever get from the Custody Queens team.
And I'm excited.
It is. There is nothing worse. I think Dane Holstrom has talked a lot about that. When you're in the hallway, standing outside the courtroom that's not open yet, and you have someone going, Miss Williams, I'm your attorney. And you're thinking, I'm paying that person a lot of money, and they're calling out my name in the hallway. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to throw that in, but you will never have that at our office.
And I'm excited about that. So I think it's a range of experiences that I've had. My first domestic violence trial, I got thrown into it that morning, and I didn't know I was doing a trial, and I've never done a trial before, but I won against an attorney who was representing a cop.
There you go. Well, I have all the faith in you that you will win a lot of cases, and what a win looks like is different in every case.
Exactly.
But I think we all have scars from from
Kristen's got a good one. Come
yeah,
on,
I think
Kristen.
my first DV trial, as you call it, I was told by another attorney at my office that, you know, I wouldn't even have to go in the courtroom. I just had to wait outside for the judge to sign off on, you know, granting it or denying it on a temporary basis. And the judge called us in and said, all right, your first witness. And here I am thinking, how do I call a witness, you know? And then I think that the other side had advised the court that they had a video of my client doing something very inappropriate. And so at the end of that day, I won. I got the temporary restraining order, but my client was kicked out of the house. So it was kind of a unique, definitely went in my car, cried, told myself family law was not for me. I was the worst attorney ever, blamed the attorney that sent me there. But 10 and a half.
Who
11.
shall remain nameless.
Hey, he likes listening to our show too. He's probably laughing. But
I have a good one from the same attorney when I first started.
yeah, we all got scars. Tell us about your scars, Sam.
When I first started, I don't know, I think I had gone to court a handful of times, and I was handed a file and was like, just go get a continuance. And I'm like, what do you, like, how do you do that? What do I do? I'm asking 1,000 questions. Like, no worries, just go up, ask for a continuance, tell them you're not the main attorney, call it a day. Like, no problem. So I hike all the way down to Hill Street in LA. I show up. I'm like, good morning, Your Honor. I'm Sam McBride, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to request a continuance. And the judge just goes, no. And I'm like, okay, where do I go from here? So I luckily had enough wherewithal to say, like, can I get put on second call? And, like, ran into the hall and, like, looked through the file and managed to get out of the hearing alive. But I mean, that was a very good lesson for me, and that kind of taught me, like, you can't expect the court to do what you want them to do. You have to always be prepared to, like, tap dance around an issue or go a completely different way. For how many times I've thought this trial's going forward and then it didn't, just as many times I've been like, this trial will not go forward. And it does. So you have to always be prepared for everything.
And imagine running through all of that in your head with your client there, and you obviously don't want your client to know that all of these things are going on in your head.
Right.
Because, you know, we are ready to rock every day, all day. And we are human too, guys. So you gotta fake it till you make it. But those scars, I call them scars because they're mistakes that you won't hopefully ever make again, and they left a mark that makes you a better lawyer, a better advocator, and a better human.
Right, experience dense.
Yeah, I got a lot on my back.
So do I.
All right, Xinia and Sam, let's dive into notes to our younger self. Sam, why don't you start?
I would say do uncomfortable things, like, just do them, because at some point in your life, unless you're going to, like, live in a bubble and do the things and not do the things you want to do, you're gonna have to put yourself in uncomfortable positions. And the quicker you learn that and the quicker you do that, the farther ahead you'll get. And so I think that if I could kind of go back and just, like, scold myself, it's just do it. We're all awkward. I'm still awkward. I'm not gonna be able to, like, wash the awkward off me. I exist in an awkward planet, but I do think that the more you can just tell yourself, like, get out there, do it, the better you'll feel, the more comfortable you'll be doing it, and the more confident you'll be. And now I have a great deal of confidence that I can go do uncomfortable things, and maybe I won't be the best at it right away, but I am kind of crazy enough to make myself good at it, and I will, like, get to it one way or another. So
I like that. It's okay to fail. It's okay to fail before you reach success.
I think that's one of the things that I would probably tell myself. It's okay to fail. But I think I would go back to probably, like, preteen me and tell me that you're fine. Just be you. Because you find yourselves as, like, a young kid, like, trying to change yourself because that's not what your friends are doing. You don't need to do what your friends are doing.
yeah, you're so critical
Like,
of
I think
yourself.
that's been one of mine on a previous show. It's so true.
Yeah. And, you know, you change yourself for your friends, and if they're not you, you don't need them.
And
it's
a lot
weird.
of, it's you're never going to be that other person or that other thing, nor should you necessarily want to be. So, I mean, I agree with that.
To add a little bit more, but just, I think people come into your life at different stages and take what you can from the people that are there. They're there for a reason, and if they're no longer there, there's a reason for that too. And you learn from that. Like, I have friendships from kindergarten. I have friendships from like you guys now. You know, like it ranges, and each person brings value to your life.
Mm-hmm. And if they don't, bye.
Yeah.
And it's sad that a lot of these things, it takes maturity and age to figure it out, because mine is in line with both of yours. And it's really just to be nicer to yourself. You know, you spend a lot of time in your brain, you spend a lot of time looking at yourself in the mirror. And, you know, I was in a family that was my parents were very present, they were very active, but the expectations were also high. And I have achieved a level of great success. And so I'm very appreciative for the way that I was raised, and I raised my children very similar. But at some point, I wish I wasn't so hard on myself at times, because I think my personality type is it wants perfection.
You want to win.
All the time. And sometimes that takes a toll on your mental health.
Yeah.
So,
and there's a lot of things out of your control when you're younger. Like they're just it. I mean, for example, I have a size 11 shoe, if anyone is wondering. And that was a really big struggle when you're 13 and you're like walking around with canoes. But then you start realizing like no one else is a woman's size 11, so there's always shoes available to buy. Like,
And on clearance.
It takes a while to get there, but it's okay.
And I think the preteen age is just the absolute worst. It's like you're coming into your own, you're learning, you know, about friendships, and it's just a really awkward age. I would love to skip the whole like 13 to 16 kind of.
It's just pimply and...
Yeah, and life has to teach you these things.
Right.
There's no way to skip it, you know? It kind of goes in line with the scars we're talking about, but you are your biggest fan, so you should treat yourself as good as possible.
That's well put.
All right, now I just want to mention one thing to all of our listeners, because, you know, having an attorney that is bilingual is so incredibly powerful. We have a lot of clients that are Hispanic and that, you know, need a Spanish-speaking attorney. So Xinia is that person, and we are so happy to add her to our team because it allows us to reach and help more people in our community. So if you are going through a family law case, you have a friend, a neighbor, a soccer mom, please let them know. You can check out our website at custodyqueens.com. You can watch this video, because we are funnier in person, on custodyqueensair.com. And it was a pleasure spending this Saturday morning with all of our Go Country listeners.
It absolutely was. Thank you for coming to our show. I'm sure we'll have you on again. If anyone wants to get in contact with us, please give us a call at 1-800-419-7772. That's 1-800-419-7772.
And stay tuned for a bunch of fall and holiday giveaways. They are coming soon, so make sure you are following Sam and I and Custody Queen. And Xinia's profile is on our custodyqueens.com website. And every Tuesday, we share a tip with all of you on social media. And it not only helps us, but it helps you. So thank you for spending this Saturday morning with us and getting to know our new attorney.
Thanks for having me.
And remember,
Let love
rule.